Good evening here on KM Activities. Your home for the KoMets. It's been a wild Wednesday with all these interviews. This is now the fifth one. This will be the final one. I'm Joel McCall. We have Logan Vaughan with us. He is a Kasson grappler, a wrestler. Can't wait to talk to Logan. He's 11-0 on the season. He's rated number 1 in 2A at 145 pounds. I know you had practice tonight. How'd things go for practice, Logan?
Oh, pretty good. We just kind of every day kind of practice, just getting ready for competition for tomorrow.
Yep, they'll be back in action tomorrow night's Triton and Goodhue. They did wrestle. Last matches were Saturday, Cannon Falls and ZM. And the KoMets actually lost the duel. It was the first time in 12 years that you guys had lost the Hiawatha Valley duel. I actually was trying to find the matches from the weekend. They weren't on Track Wrestling. So I was going to ask you just to kind of take me through the duels and how last Saturday went.
So, yeah, we knew going into it, the Zumbrota, they've always been in the past just tough. You know, go in there, no one wants to lose Zumbrota. I mean, that's for years past. It didn't matter. I mean, yeah, if we knew we were better than them, we go into there, no one wants to lose to Zumbrota. That's just how it is. So, and we knew upper weight-wise, we're going to have a couple tough matches. And, I mean, if it came down to it, some of those matches we need to win. And obviously, you know, everyone's been talking lower weights. You know, we go into every match. We don't put blame on anyone and just we wrestled our match. And obviously, we gave up a lot of pins lower-wise, and it's not where we wanted. And then everyone wants to, you know, say, well, what the heck? But our team, we need a lot more fight, I feel. And you could tell we didn't have enough fight, and we just came up on the losing end in that duel.
Yeah, it actually came down to a tiebreaker, right? Isn't that it was the 1-point tiebreaker?
Yeah, I think it was 33-33, and it came who won more matches, but we were tied match wise, and then it came down to who had more pins, and I think it was 6-3.
Okay. So, yeah, I'd heard that was the tiebreaker, and well, the accolades for you, Logan, they're a lot. I mean, I could spend a long time here. 3rd at state last year, 4th in 2019 and 2018. You have 40 career pinfalls. You're nearing the top 25 in KoMets career wins list. What does all that mean to you?
I mean, it's nice and all, but, you know, I mean, always room to improve. I mean, since 7th, 8th grade, my whole goal is state championship. I mean, all that stuff's nice and all, but, I mean, at the end of the day, for me, it's all about getting a team title. I mean, I got one of those, which is a real confidence booster for me at a young age, and it's just not a lot of teams can say that they had a team title, and it really meant a lot to me. But it's also like, I still got 2 more years. It'd be really nice to get 2 more team titles, but the team title, I can knock that one off my list. That was always a huge one coming from years past. Never been on the greatest teams. It was always just kind of me on the team, whatever, weren't greatest, and get put with Kasson. It was like a really good team. So I kind of knocked the team one off the list, and now it's really just at the end of the day, everything I've trained for is that individual state title. And I mean, I've been just all I can do to train and do my part and believing in myself. And I feel like I have a really good shot this year. And that's been the main goal since 1st grade, since I started wrestling.
Yeah, and you'll get that shot. I think one thing that when you started this season, I think there was a lot of question marks when it came to the postseason and would it be and will they have it and will they have a state championship and everything else? How'd you guys feel once you heard there will be a state tournament?
So when I got the news, I was obviously in school, and I saw my phone buzz, and there was a text from my mom. It's like, there's a state tournament. And I was kind of like, holy crap, I'm finally going to get my chance. It's not going to be all right, well, this year you're not going to get it. And now it's a lot more pressure my senior year. Like, this is it. Like, this is your last shot. I mean, everything's against you. Where now, at least this year, I have a really good shot. And so I don't get it. I mean, at least I had a shot, and I'll have next year. Where next year, if I didn't have the state tournament this year, it was one of those, it's your last shot. Where this year now, I mean, I can still be a 2-time state champion. And I mean, a lot of people struggle saying they have one. Obviously, my main goal is to become one, but ultimately my goal is to go out of my senior career, wrestling career, 2-time state champion. I mean, it's very realistic. Not many people can say it's realistic, but for me, it's a very realistic goal.
Yeah, it for sure is. And you do have a couple of those guys that are in the room with you that have won state titles.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Bergie or Kennedy last year and kind of get their advice about the state tournament, and maybe not trying to put too much pressure on you, but you want to be amped, you want to be ready?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of never really talked to him about it. I mean, really ultimately it comes down to I know what to do. I've been in plenty of, like, just youth wise. I mean, I've had a couple big tournament wins. So ultimately it's all really the same thing. I mean, obviously the competition wise gets better as you're older you get, but ultimately I know, like, what I have to do. It all kind of just comes down to how I perform and how mentally ready I am. Because I mean, right now I'm ready to go. Like, if the state tournament was tomorrow, I'm ready. Like, I really truly think I've been every night before I go to bed. It's, you can be a state champion. You're gonna do it. You're gonna score points. You're gonna do enough. You're gonna win. So I mean, it's really been on my mind, especially this year. Knowing at first it was like, oh man, are we gonna get a state tournament? Like, are we gonna get season? Like, now that I know, it's kind of like, all right, you're gonna do this. It's just a matter of how and when.
Yeah, just going out and getting it. And I wanted to ask about your brother too, because now you got him, and you talk about overweights. Well, one of them is your brother. So Brock's up there, and I know that he's on the varsity level. He's had some wins, he's had some losses. What are you talking to him about?
For him, a lot of it is the day he got moved up there, it was like a week, kind of a half a week of talk, and like he was kind of talking to me like, hey, Jamie was talking, Dad, like, I might get moved up. I'm like, really? I mean, you're definitely really small, but I mean, you beat me in something. You started a year earlier, and I mean, for him, like, I tell him, I'm like, this is like probably the best year you could ever have. Like, yeah, you're small, so you're going to be able to adjust wrestling to heavier guys, stronger guys. You're going to be able to adjust a lot sooner. You're going to get an extra year of just realizing, like, how much different it is, like, wrestling older, heavier guys. You're going to get a feel of all the nerves, all the pressure, all the spotlight. And it's a really big year for you. I'm like, and I tell him, I'm like, I mean, really, you're not starting because you got Luke Swanson, but you're going to get thrown in those matches, and you got nothing to lose. I mean, everything this year is going in your way. You have a whole year basically of trial and error. I mean, so you lose. I mean, not that as an excuse, but you're giving up so much weight and all this. I mean, and he's doing a great job, obviously, as you can tell. He's been wrestling really good. Like, every match, more as the years gone on, and every match is kind of like, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're a different wrestler. Like, Jamie is so good, and that no one gives him enough credit of how well he can take a okay wrestler to a good wrestler, and then the good wrestler to an even better. Like, there's stages, and Jamie does such a good job. And being in the room with all older guys, it also is one of those, he wants it more because there's older guys in the room. He looks up so much more, and I tell him, like, you're lucky, like, you really truly are. And obviously our team isn't as good as, like, when I joined, so it's not as nerve-wracking. Where when I joined, I had big shoes to fill. Like, we're in a state championship team. Like, I gotta win every match. Like, yeah, I've never wrestled varsity. Everyone, if I lose, it's gonna be like, this kid's just, why is he on our team? So it's like, I tell him all the time, like, and I tell him, people always nagging, lower weights, lower weight this, lower weight that. Don't let that get to you.
Yeah.
I mean, because realistically, you're not a starter, so you lose. But as long as you lose and you go out fighting, I'd rather you lose every match fighting. I'd rather you not win an easy match, you look bad. If you go out there and give it all, like your all, just fight. Or a lot of our team just needs that. We're lacking a lot of that. A lot of people, I mean, upperweights too. I mean, there's times where I could be scoring more points against like Plainview. I could have attacked the kid. We all just need to have a little bit more fight, just more heart in us. And I've been preaching that a lot to him. And I don't always want to talk wrestling about it to him because then he's just like overwhelmed,
Right.
We kind of just joke around, don't really think about it. And I just tell him that this is like a perfect year for you and just really take it all in and don't take anything for granted. I mean, it's just a blessing for him, really.
Yeah, I love the mentality, that's for sure, especially when, as you said, that's just perfect advice. Tell him there's not as much pressure on you. Try not to overthink it and just go out there and do your job. And let's talk about favorites, a couple of them. How about match? Favorite match of yours, Logan?
Oof. I think my favorite match this year it probably had to be the Lucas Jagoniski match in Fairmont, for sure, and maybe 1-1 I wrestled in Simley.
Okay.
The reason I say that is for me, I've wrestled that Lucas Jagoniski in my 8th grade, 10th grade year. We've wrestled all the time, and just going in that match, it was definitely nerve-wracking, right? Every match before you lost, or they lost, and it was kind of like one of those. It's like, holy crap! I mean, I've beaten this kid before, but it's one of those. Is like, no one's won. Like, what if I lose? So I just kind of, like Jamie told us, you got to brainwash yourself. Like, you just have to believe, like, hey, that those don't matter. It's this match right here. No, nothing else matters. I'm going to win this match. I've wrestled him before. I've beat him before. I know what to do. I've done this my whole life. And I think I definitely did a really good job of that. Like, I went out there super prepared. I was ready. And, like, the whole time, sometimes my matches before I go out, I'll look at the kid. And he'll look at me. And if just how I look at him, I'll know if I have him beat or not. There's just always that look. And he gave me that look. And it gave me that extra boost of confidence. And I went out there and I knew, like, I'm winning this match. It was just a matter of how. And obviously, it was kind of close the whole time, right? I got taken down, but it's like, I knew I'm getting out, right? I didn't force things. I just kind of waited for my time to come and I hit it. I knew I was winning that match. It just matter of how. And it kind of sparked me up a little bit because then I started really realizing, like, hey, you're that guy. You're the top. You're that guy. Like, I mean, it's I don't know. That match really changed my whole mindset of everything, really.
Yeah, it was definitely a big win. And
how about the team too?
Right. Yes, it did. That's true. And then I want to know about your warm up. What do you usually do prior to match to kind of get yourself ready?
Normally I kind of like to. I just calm, I mean, I don't overthink it. Like some kids like to listen to music and like run and do a lot of like movement, get really going. I just kind of, pace back and forth, just kind of calm, just thinking like how I'm going to score, how I'm getting my ties. Do I want to win this match by pin? What am I going to do to get there? If I want to win by a tech ball, like how many points do I got to score? So, I mean, I try not to think about it, and I just think, hey, I lose, I lose. I mean, it doesn't really matter. And I feel like if I go out there with that mentality of if I lose, who cares? I wrestle so much better. Where if I think like, hey, I got to win this match, then I hold back. Where if I'm just calm, don't really worry about it, kind of just mess around with the guys, laugh, helps calm me down, and it just really like gets me going, and it just locks me in. So I normally just about Joey Kennedy, once he gets up, then I start getting up to move around a little bit, sometimes more. I mean, every match is different. If I know it's not as tough of a match, then I don't really have to pump myself up and like really lock myself in. But like that Lucas Jagoniski match, I think I got up at like 120 because I was ready to go. Like I was pacing. I just, kind kind of rubbing everything out, just kind of getting my body woken up, just stretching a little bit. And it was one of those, I was locked in. Like, it was like a movie scene. Like, it got so intense, like everything got shut out. Like, that's how focused and like ready to go I was.
Yeah, that's a great mentality to have. Clear your mind. I do want to ask about your family. So we've talked about Brock. Tell me about your folks.
Yeah, so they're doing good. I mean, work has been good for them right now. Obviously, my dad's in construction, so it's just a little bit slower, and they both kind of just work from home for right now. I mean, my dad, he owns his company, so he can kind of just everything's kind of on his schedule. I mean, some days he'll have to go do a couple estimates, or if he's just working on his computer. And since we're technically like homeschooled right now, my mom's able to work from home to help us a little bit on schoolwork if we have it. So I mean, they've been just working at home, just helping us, getting us our meals. My mom's really good at when practice is done. We tell her before kind of like what we want or whatever they're making. They kind of have it like out and on the table right when we walk in, which is really nice. And they're obviously really good meals too. They're not just cheap. So I mean, that helps too.
Yeah, you can't be eating Kraft mac and cheese right now.
No.
You got to eat some good food, that's for sure. I know your mom gets pretty amped up when you're on the mat. We always,
oh yeah,
I got the joke with her several times last year. Hopefully, you get to run into her again. Do you have any future plans yet, Logan? Have you figured out anything for your future after you graduate, or not really?
I was probably most likely wrestling in college, just kind of wherever my offers come from. And just I have two careers in mind, just either joining the SWAT team or being like kind of a side job like personal training.
Okay.
I've always kind of had a passion for personal training, especially this summer. Like when we always lift after school wrestling team. Travis would put us through lifts and whatever. And then gyms got shut down, and it was kind of like, oh crap, where are we gonna lift? So then we ended up finding a place to lift, and it wasn't much, but we make something out of it. And then I kind of took Dominic Mann under my wing. He was one of those kids, he'd show up to lift. I mean, he was just there, you know. He really wasn't like where I lift, and I genuinely enjoy lift. Like, I get as much out of it. He was kind of just there. And I really feel like this whole summer of like during when like COVID first started, when school got canceled, every day after school we'd go lift. Like, he really like got into it, and you could tell like how much he was into it, because he was asking me like, what kind of supplements are you taking? Like, what are you eating, drinking? Like, hey, can we go to the fitness shop sometime and get supplements? And I was like, yeah. I mean, and you could tell like from last year to this year, he's kind of a little chubby little dude, and now he's kind of more defined, and you can tell. And he tells me all the time like he's enjoying lifting now, and you can just tell because he's actually starting to put up big weights, and he's gained quite a bit of muscle weight. And I've always had a passion for helping people like that, and it helps motivate me too to lift more. And I like that feeling of seeing people progress and succeed and see what they want to achieve, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you kind of have a path in mind, and we'll see what happens for your wrestling career and where those offers do come from next year. And you certainly got the goal in mind of state tournament. You got to hold off on that for a few weeks because the regular season's not quite over with. You guys do wrestle again tomorrow, as I want to mention. It's Triton in Goodhue. It starts at 5 o'clock. It'll be on KM Activities, this channel. As I mentioned earlier, the girls' hockey game will be over on Channel 2. So looking forward to you guys back on the mats. You are on the road on Saturday, 10 a.m. That's triangular with Caledonia, along with Austin at Caledonia. So, Logan, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. And I'll get to see you on the mat. Make it a long match for me tomorrow, okay?
All right, I'll try.
All right, sounds good. That's Logan Vaughan. I'm Joel McCall. Thank you so much for tuning in here at KM Activities, your home for the KoMets.